Hello and welcome. I am live and I totally blew it. Oh man. My sincere apologies. I set the live for 2:05 my time, but in my head I thought 2:35, and so I was just casually going about my afternoon. And then when I jumped in the studio just now, and the chat was like already 30 minutes into the chat. I mean, there was lots of people hanging out chatting. I feel terrible. I'm sorry, guys. That is 100% on me. I was getting my 8:35 Wednesday nights confused with my 2:05 Sunday afternoons. And now I realize that I'm gonna have to run the show extra quick so that you guys can still get to Brick Something's channel for 3:30, 3:45. So that gives me, just an hour. So I'm gonna have to rip through this, and I'm probably gonna struggle to do that in time. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what I was thinking. It's the holidays. I barely know what day it is, let alone what time it is. So that's 100% on me, guys. I'm very, very sorry. Let's see. Let me just get this set up. I'm gonna run through as quickly as I can. Like I said, I feel like a jerk because I totally blew it. Nobody messaged me or anything like that, so it's yeah, that's on me. All right. Before I get into my most anticipated, toys and figures and things of the year, let me say hello to the chat. Some of you may not be here anymore. You might have given up on me and gone home. You're probably at home, but anyway. Mr. Ryan Clark, Larry's Geeky World, Eric Dryja, Red 5, Ray Paz is here or was here. Let's see. There was more, I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Larry's Geeky World. Maybe he thought he said it for 5:35 instead of 5:05. I 100% did. And Red 5 says his time is always 5:05, which it absolutely is. So it's completely on me. Oh man, I feel like an idiot. Oh well, life goes on. Yeah, and I didn't forget. I just forgot what time I said it for. So anyways, yeah, and this is exactly it. Mr. Ryan Clark said is the weird part of December when you forget what day of the week it is. Yeah, what day, what date, what time? Like I'm all over the place. I was fortunate enough to have, a couple extra days off just because of the way the week worked out. I had Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then I don't work on the weekend. So it's been kind of chaotic and kind of crazy and kind of confusing. But yeah. Last stream was the last of the year. No, I've got this one as the last of the year. So maybe I did say it might be the last of the year, but maybe I just didn't know what day it was. I genuinely have no idea what's going on. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, let's see. Let me try to jump through some of these comments. And Larry was about to message me. You should have, because I was just not paying attention. Christopher Bouchard is here as well. Nolan is here. Okay, so we're kind of getting back to it. Ryan Clark, good to see you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Just losing my mind at the end of the holidays here. Spaded one McDysentery says, I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you. What's that in reference to? What? To both of us? Me and who? Me and my alter ego? Yeah, Brick, I just started, so I gotta rip through this so that I can get people off in time for your show. And Red 5 says, as long as there's Mars reveal. Well, maybe there is a Space Zombies from Mars reveal. All right, let's just get right into it, okay? Because if we don't get right into it now, there will not be a Space Zombies from Mars reveal. So let me just bring this up and share this. I'm doing slides because I always just find slides, at least for me, is just way easier than trying to sift through like websites and sort of like click and keep track of them. So I put them in the order that I want to talk about them in, and then I can kind of go through them in a way that sort of hits all my touch points, and in my brain too, in my brain that clearly is not working very well today. There's also, natural progression between these. So today I'm going to go through the things that I'm most excited about. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. This certainly doesn't cover everything that, I have on pre-order or that I expect is coming out this year. I don't even think I put any G.I. Joe Classified in here, partly because I'm privy to some of the things that are coming out in 2026 that other people aren't. And so I lose track of what is or isn't coming out when, what's been announced, so on and so forth. But this is kind of like the things that I'm most excited about. So let's get into it. And because Brick mentioned it, because I mentioned it, on previous streams, I did get my Christmas sweater in time. I went with the Thundercats ho 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 Christmas sweater. It's a lot more orange than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be a little bit more red. I thought this would be red. I thought this would be red. I thought the cuff on the bottom would be red, but then on the back, it's also got lino and the Sword of Omens. So I'm pretty hyped on this sweater, and now I think I need another one. But anyways, yeah, it's very warm. It's not an inside sweater, it's an outside sweater. But because I got it, because I was talking about it on previous streams, I decided to wear it. Also because I'm going to do a bit at the end of the show when just before I talk about Space Zombies from Mars, where I'm going to take the sweater off and I'm going to have my Space Zombies from Mars t-shirt on. So it's a whole thing. But anyway, hopefully I don't get too hot between now and then. All right, let's begin. All right, Gady's Toy says I need that with just one hoe. Well, I don't think it would be a Christmas sweater. I think it might be more of a Pride Week sweater if it was just one hoe. I don't know. Anyways, the legendary Meta Travelers. This is a Kickstarter that I think was 2023, if I'm not mistaken, is about to drop. They've been sending updates recently. Figure production the plastic has been extruded. All the parts are in sort of paint and assembly process right now, with the expectation that the figures will be on the water in January, which means that they should arrive on, domestic soil in February, would be my best guess, which means that, sometime in March, Kickstarter backers should have their figures. I am personally very, very excited about this. I think these figures look fantastic. I don't think these figures are going to be, groundbreaking in any way. But design-wise, I think they're really, really fun. I think they're really, really cool figures. The guys behind this line are also just super nice dudes. Met them at Legion's Con. I've chatted with them a little bit, and they're great guys. And I feel bad for them because I know that they wanted this stuff to be ready and available to the public sooner. But things happen, and I'll be perfectly honest. This was an incredibly ambitious Kickstarter. I feel for them in the same way that people are sort of mad at Spiro because Spiro hasn't sort of fulfilled all their Kickstarter orders yet. I think these guys are in the same boat. Just so much work had to go into getting these two customers that I think they just didn't necessarily predict that it was going to take that long. I mean, that's how it goes. That's just the reality of making toys. So anyway, as far as this line goes, I only ordered 2 figures. I might pick up more after the fact. I just felt that the scale was a little bigger than what I typically collect. These are kind of more of a 7-inch scale. So they're going to scale well with AWOC figures. They're going to scale well with Mythic Legions or Cosmic Legions. They would scale well with Masterverse as well. So they can kind of sort of cross over into some different lines. Personally, I'm not 100% invested in the IP in terms of the lore and stuff like that, which is why I only grabbed a couple figures, and then I'll sort of make my decision, going forward on that. So for me, the two that I backed for were Meldmaster, which is this one right here, as well as Quick Trick, I think is his name. Because I just absolutely love this sort of neon nightmare 90s vibe that was just like too good to pass up. Now, when I talked to the Meta Travelers guys, they basically told me that I'm the opposite of everybody else. That this guy was one of the sort of worst received figures, which is crazy to me because this figure is so much fun and so cool. But if I go back a couple slides, like you'll kind of look at, here he is, Quick Jack, I think is his name actually. There he is in the corner, neon pink and neon yellow and turquoise and all that kind of stuff. When you look at the rest of them, you got like kind of like black, red, gray, gold, purple. Like it's all there's a color palette here, and he doesn't fit it. It's a completely out there figure for their own line. They weren't even sure if they were going to include it, but they did, thankfully, and I backed it. So whatever. Meldmaster and Quick Jack. Those are the two that I was most excited about. So those are the two that I backed. Ray Pass says the comic was good. The comic was pretty good. It wasn't Animal Warriors of the Kingdom issue 1 good, but it was decent, and I like where they're going with this. I would say that of the comic books that sort of tie into action figure lines that I'm excited about, it might have been the weakest. But it was a little, largely because I just, there's too much going on almost. You have too many characters. You have too much backstory. I think there was too much backstory. They kind of didn't. They jumped in at the beginning almost, where they should have jumped in a little bit later, and then sort of maybe given us more backstory later down the line, if that makes sense. Give us a couple pages of exposition in the middle of the book or at the end of the book to sort of fill in the gaps from what we've just read. But they kind of tried to jump in. Now they technically had kind of 2 comics. But anyways, I won't sort of bore people with that. Were these on display at Legion's Con? These were on display at Legion's Con last year, so not Legion's Con 2025, but they had these on the table at Legion's Con 2024, and they had a table at Legion's Con 2023, but I don't think it had any product. So these guys have been sort of working on this for the last couple of years, and they look fantastic. I can't wait to get them. I'm very excited to get these and sort of get into them, do unboxing videos for them, and sort of try to get the word out if they're good. And if they're not any good, you probably won't hear me say anything about them. That's how I operate. If I love a figure, I'll review it. If I don't, you might never hear me talk about it. Eric Drya says, I picked up the same 2 because you have good taste. That's why. Is that a soft goods stash on that fire dude? Let me go back. There is soft goods. So there's soft goods on this guy. This guy, I think, might have a soft goods cape. There's a couple other figures not pictured here that definitely have soft goods on them. So they definitely this line has soft goods from C. Jessam. The paintmasters were all done by Nikki Nicole. So the you know that what you're getting here is going to be good product. I believe these might have even been sculpted by the Four Horsemen. So you know the level of the level of quality that you're looking at with this line, I think, is very, very high. Now, I don't know which factories made them. I don't know, you know, any of that. So I will sort of reserve my judgment until I actually get them in hand. But that should be sooner rather than later. So I'm excited for that. Ray Paz says I went all in on this line. Nice. JMax77 says, what an absolutely ambitious first wave. This isn't even all of them. There's like 4 more figures or 5 more figures. Solo Sinner says, I think these have the right amount of cartoony, comic booky to fit with AWOC, aside from the Technicolor Fever Dream. Yes, I agree. I think these work really, really well. So if you're somebody that has sort of shelves that cross over, if your toy lines kind of commingle, I think this is going to be a good one for a lot of folks. I for whatever reason, I still don't. All my shelves are very homogenous. Now I do sort of play with my toys together, but all my shelves are homogenous. So. Rowdy Rouse is here. What's going on? Good to have you. Only 3 fingers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's related to the lore in some way. You know, I don't know if these guys are the same species as these guys. I think there's multiple species here. But anyway. Christopher Bouchard, sadly, I didn't back any figures. Well, I put the link in the description. You can actually go to the site and still pre-order them for, I think, less than MSRP, like less than retail price. And you'll get them fairly soon. So, Brick Something, definitely looking forward to these. I checked and just backed for 2 figures, but don't remember if we had to choose which yet in backer kit. I think we chose like a year ago. So you probably forget because it was so long ago. Gatey's Toy says the red dude with the tech dreads looks so Liefeld. Larry's Geeky World says the Lava Ninja looks really cool. They all look good. I had to pick 2 because I got too much other stuff. Mr. Ryan Clark says I get some Fortnite vibes from these. Definitely. I mean, especially like Quick Jack. If I get to choose which 2 today, I think I go Meld Master and Eternal Guard. Yeah, fair enough. I think you should have already chosen. You might want to check your backer kit and get in touch with them if you haven't chosen. All right, moving on because I don't have time. Galactic Valor. So these guys are awesome. They've had a table next to Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, next to Spiro Toys, the last 3 years in a row, I think. So we've had lots of opportunity to chat with these guys and just kind of hang out. And I just really appreciate you know, these guys, Fox Forge Toys, and I'm excited to get these more because I really genuinely want to support good people that make cool toys. The 2 that I backed from their Kickstarter, and again, this was another Kickstarter, but these are going to be available sooner rather than later, were this one that I don't know the name of, and then the Kickstarter exclusive, which I also don't know the name of. But they had figures at the table this year that were production samples, and they looked great. They moved great. Paint looked good. Everything fit really nice. Solo Sinner. These were the ones I was thinking about. Yes, these guys have had a table next to us the last 3 years. And these guys are just really, really cool. If you go to the Fox Forge Toys website and go to Galactic Valor and check out the lore on this is really, really cool. My understanding is that they're trying to get a comic book together to get it put out. I would be very, very excited to see this comic book because I think their lore looks really, really cool. Let's see. Christopher Bouchard, I did back one Galactic Valor figure, the bad guy. Don't know the name. Probably the one with the cape. And that cape is also C. Jessam. So everybody's using C. Jessam except us. Ray Pat says, I'm going to pick up one of these Galactic Valor when it comes out. Nice. Like I said, nice folks making cool toys. And their models, as I said, were very, very nice. So that's all I got to say about that. Let's move on. I got I'm already 20 minutes in to the hour basically that I have for myself. Yes, there you go. Okay, so Brick is fact checking for me. This guy is called Grishk. And then this is the Hyperion Tracer. Right? I think this is no, that's what Brick backed. This is Grish. This is not. And I didn't back the golden accessories back. But part of the thing is, like, because they've been the table right next to us for Legions Con 3 years in a row, and I expect them to be back for Legions Con 2026, which I anticipate that I will be at. I backed a couple in the Kickstarter, but I'll buy a couple from them as well at the table, because they will have a table at Legions Con with product on it, which is like such a great feeling. And I kept telling them that, and they're finally going to be there for Legions Con in 2026. So very, very excited for Fox Forge toys, but also very excited for the product. So yeah, there you go. And Larry's Geeky World said, super nice people, figures look great. Yeah, they do. Next on my tour of Kickstarters that I backed, Soldier Odious. This one I anticipate is actually going to be available to ship in 2026, so I'm excited for this. I backed this, and because I didn't have original Odious, I actually got an original Odious added on to my order. So I'm super excited about this. Really, really happy to see, again, cool folks getting cool toys made. And I feel like people have been banged over the head with this Odious campaign, so I'm not going to linger on this for too long. I'm just really excited to have this. I feel like this fits with AWOC as well for obvious reasons, but it also fits with my sort of current obsession to probably pick up a couple more Mezco figures. I also think it fits well into sort of a goal that I have for 2026 of kind of picking up more specific pieces, like less pieces, but more specific pieces, and being a little bit more discerning with what I get. And, just in a reflection of the fact that I have no space available. And stay tuned to the channel because I'm going to do a collection tour and show you that there's nowhere left to put things unless I change my office. So that's where kind of Odious fits in. I'm just the soldier for me of the four. So we have the soldier as well as the cowboy or whatever he was called, bandito. I don't know what it was called. But then we have the Ronin and the Inuit as well. The Ronin intrigues me, but I think it's too big to fit with something like Bushido and Nippon Adventures. And so I think for me, this guy just works the best for my collection. I think this is sort of like, this epitomizes what I'm going for in 2026. It's kind of like a one and done, only it's not, because it's a two and done, because I got the original one. Because I think the original one fits with some Rumble Society stuff that I hope to pick up. And then this one sort of fits in the aesthetic of like G.I. Joe, but also works with AWOC. Like I said, anyways, the rules are flexible. Whoops. Brick said, you've been a fairly disciplined collector, Origins notwithstanding. Yeah, but even with Origins, I only pick them up when they're cheap. Like, I don't think I've paid full price for any Origins figures. If I'm able to sort of recall all the ones that I've bought, I don't think there's a single one that I paid full price for in Origins. And Brick says there's more Kickstarters in the next few months I'm looking forward to. As am I, and that's actually going to be another video, because there's like at least half a dozen that I know that I'm going to back in 2026. So I'm kind of moving into this weird phase of collecting where I'm basically just backing Kickstarters and waiting for those products to arrive. So it's almost like Kickstarters are pre-orders for me in a way. I know that they're not. I know that Kickstarters are not pre-orders. I know that very well. But that seems to be the sort of the natural progression that I've sort of been on in terms of just my collecting journey. So I'm looking less at pre-ordering figures and then more at picking up figures in store, and then Kickstarters as though they're pre-orders, even though they're not. Anyways, yeah, and Brian Brink says so many Kickstarters back last year. There's going to be a deluge of new figures coming in 2026 or later. Depends. Gabrielle is here, says happy Sunday, everyone. Almost at 1,000 subs. I am. It's close, but I go back and forth between like moments where I'm like, I should really push, and moments where I'm like, but I kind of don't care. And today I don't care, so I didn't mention it and won't again. Ray Paz says he would fit in great with Marvel Legends or Monster Force. Exactly. And Monster Force is one that I've got some pre-orders up for. I didn't include any Monster Force today. I didn't include any, I don't think, Big Bad Workshop stuff, because the way that they set up their pictures, I can't quickly and easily put them into slides. So I thought, well, that's fine. I just won't use them. But I'm excited for Monster Force stuff. I'm excited for Cops and Crooks. I'm excited for the Tick San Diego Comic-Con exclusive with a surfboard and some swim trunks. But I don't think I have slides for those. Like I said, this is not an exhaustive list of what I'm excited about for 2026. Let's see. World War Hell. I am not an O-ring collector, but I am somebody that likes cool stuff, and these are cool. I'm excited about these. I only back for one figure. I only back for Sergeant Spectre. I am excited for these. I am excited for where this line is going to go. I do have some insight into what what Grindhouse Toys wants to do with the World War Hell IP. I also know that they are working with an ex Hasbro employee to do like the digital face print for the figures, and apparently they look phenomenal. I haven't seen any sort of like finished product, but like testing looks amazing. Massive upgrade to what you typically get on like a painted figure that size. And so I think these are going to come out incredibly well. Now, of course, I picked one that doesn't have any face printing. It's just translucent. For obvious reasons, I picked a translucent figure to be the one that I backed. But I'm very, very excited for World War Hell. O-ring notwithstanding. Because as I said, I don't know where this is going to go. It's going to go on my G.I. Joe shelf with my O-ring G.I. Joes. But I'm not looking to sort of expand beyond that. I am still expanding my Mythic Legion shelf, and I have no room on my Mythic Legion shelf. It's next to me. The sort of natural progression for my Mythic Legion shelf is to go up. So I am in the process of building a Castle Silverthorn with some foam, as well as sort of some like castle ruins type stuff that'll be sort of an Aether thing for either end of the shelf. And then everything in the middle will be sort of stuff like this, where it's not, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting. Castle Silverhorn is why can't I remember? Anyways, doesn't matter. Whoops, this keeps skipping on me. This is, of course, from a retailer wave. I'm very excited about this because I love creatures. The other Mythic Legions figures that I am extremely, extremely excited about are also creatures for the most part. Actually, let me go back. I love this like translucent yellow phoenix bird type thing as well. Very, very cool. Those birds are kind of like, I wish the birds came off of the bracelets. So the bird's feet are molded as part of the sort of leather cuff that goes on the wrist. Um, it would have been cool if they made it so that the bird's feet attached to the bird, and then the bird could sort of stand on or like port into the bracelet. That's not how it works, so it's a little bit of a bummer. But I'm super excited to get this figure nonetheless because the green snake is cool. I didn't get the green dragon, so I'm excited to get the green snake. I love their wired capes, and this sort of cloak, this fabric looks very cool. Um, just looks like a really cool figure. I'm excited about this figure. And yes, Brian Brink, thank you so much. I'm a dum dum. Xylona's flock will be in the castle, and then as I said, Arethyr will be on the other side, and sort of everything else is in between. So um, thank you for that. That was what I was looking for in my brain's Rolodex and couldn't find it. Other things that I'm very excited about in Mythic Legions for 2026, obviously Bodvar the bear and Attila. That doesn't sound right. I can't remember anything's name right now. And then the cow. I can't remember what the cow's name is either. But I'm just excited for creatures. These are, of course, from the Rising Suns wave, which I think this wave will arrive soon. It's on the water, and then this is sort of next to arrive. They've sort of said like Q1, so this could be sort of March, April. And then these are from the Rise of the Beast wave. So Leodicius and this hyena. It's not a hyena, but anyway, I'm just really excited for the creatures. And I'm really excited for, new articulation schemes and sort of more details than we've typically got with Mythic Legions, and just the Four Horsemen kind of expanding their parts library and just doing more and more cool stuff. I'm really excited for stuff that they say is going to arrive in 2026, but I think it's probably going to be 2027. Horror of Einsamall has the Imp scale figure, which I'm extremely excited about. So that I believe is going to be 2027. So I'm just kind of showing some of the figures that I've ordered for 2026. Larry's Geeky World says, Leodicius, is he 2026? Allegedly he is. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's what they're reporting on the Source Horseman website. So if they follow through with the schedule that they've posted as of right now, Leodicius will be 2026, which seems crazy because we're also getting we're also getting this wave, we're also getting this wave, we're also, if everything goes correctly, getting a dragon. Now I did not back Baratheer. I just don't have room for this thing. It looks phenomenal. I've seen the samples and they're amazing. But I just did not have room for it. And of course, it's Atlas, not Attila. Atlas, there you go. This is Atlas on the bear. Very excited for this combo. Very excited for this cow. I think I ordered a couple more in this wave too. And I think I ordered a couple more in this wave too, but I couldn't be bothered to remember the names and sort of write everything down. So I'm just flying through it to try to sort of get to some other stuff. Like the dragon, which I didn't get, but anyway. Mr. Ryan Clark says, I'm newish to Mythic, so I'm sure I will be enabled by other toy photographers into getting Rise of the Beasts. Yes. And I would say that Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions, Figura Obscura, all the Four Horsemen stuff is product that you have to sort of get it in hand to appreciate it to its full extent, I think. You'll hear people rave about it, but then you'll hear other people talk about, well, it's single jointed elbows, single jointed knees. And so it doesn't seem as good as it sounds when people are like raving about it. And then you get them in hand, like I said, and then you pose them and you realize that they'll hit way more poses than you thought they were going to. and they are a deep, dark rabbit hole to go down for sure. But they are fantastic, and they are worth it, and they're awesome. And I keep thinking to myself, like, I think I have all the Mythic Legions that I need. And then they reveal a new wave and a new scale and a new articulation scheme and a new bunch of accessories or whatever. And I'm like, oh dang it. Pulled me back in. And yes, for anybody that is sort of paying attention to Mythic Legions, right now is the final day to order Dawns of Discovery. So if you're in the United States and you are thinking about ordering the latest wave that was revealed at GCon, part of Legions Con this year, definitely get your order in. If you are not in the United States, do what you will. I know that if you're in Canada, eCollectibles will have it, and it'll probably, after shipping and duties and all that kind of stuff, be cheaper to just get it from eCollectibles. That's what I always do, which is great because it gives me sort of a month to think about what I'm going to order and to sort of like rationalize my irrational decisions. So yeah, I'll probably be ordering next week, but this is a very good point, and this is a very legitimate point. You can't fit it with that attitude. I could, in some alternate universe, in some reality, I could probably fit it in here. So it is a choice more so than it is, at an absolute fact. But Larry's Geeky World says I'm making room for him. That's fair. I know a lot of people that are. So Mr. Ryan Clark says, I'm into Four Horsemen for the artistry, not necessarily the articulation. If that's the case, then you're good. You're golden. You won't have any complaints at all. Larry says, love my legions. So do I. And every time I get new ones in hand, I'm reminded why I keep buying more. I keep thinking, oh, I have enough. They're just repainting and reusing parts, and it's not that big of a deal. And then I get more in hand, and I'm like, yeah, I need more. These are good. Solo Sinner says, thank Thor for eCollectibles. Indeed, eCollectibles is amazing. They're great, and they have Canadian collectors in mind. I think eCollectibles just announced that they're going to have like an exclusive agreement with Mattel for 2026, and then potentially going forward where they're going to be able to get like Mattel Creation stuff. It wasn't super clear, but that would be amazing because Mattel Creations for Canadians is a pain in the butt. Yeah. Paints toy samples. Good to have you, buddy. He says there's toys, then there's small freezers masquerading as toys. I think Barrethier sort of fits that. I think you could he is coffee table size. Maybe that's the play. Maybe you get a Barrethier and then you convert him into a coffee table, put a nice glass like on the wings, sort of not, they have the head and the neck sort of notched into the glass so that it's sort of fitted on there. I don't know. I don't know that my wife would go for that though. So anyways, moving on. I'm not normally excited for Marvel Legends. However, I love me some Nightcrawler and I love Spider-Man 2099. Of the 2099 titles, I think Spider-Man was the only one that I sticked with past, 3 or 4 issues. And so I'm very, very excited that we're getting a well-executed, relatively comic book accurate, even though it's in the cartoon line, I think, Spider-Man 2099. The only thing I can't tell from the picture, and I haven't seen yet from the pictures that I've seen from people that have gotten it in hand, who have also said that it's an amazing figure, is I don't know if he has the little like barbed fingers, which I really hope that he does. But if he doesn't, it's not going to be the breaking point for how much I love that figure. I've just held out on a 2099 for a long time because I just I only want one. I want it to be sort of a one and done. Uncanny Spider-Man is one that I just did not see coming. And I love that we got Uncanny Spider-Man because I love Nightcrawler. And when that comic book got announced, and I think it's a 4 or 5 issue miniseries, it was such a cool, weird, different crossover. And we get a BAMF effect part there. So, that has been lacking with the like 3 or 4 versions of Nightcrawler that we've gotten so far. So to pack it in with this, I think is fantastic. We get another sword that's different from the one that we've gotten from previous versions of Nightcrawler. So now he can have multiple swords, which again I think is necessary for Nightcrawler. So yeah, I'm very very excited for these. They're Marvel Legends. I did an unboxing video for the Marvel Legends Rachel Summers Phoenix, and that's the first Marvel Legends figure I'd opened in quite a while. And I forgot how underwhelming Marvel Legends figures are. The problem when you start dealing with other lines, the indie lines, whether that's Animal Wars of the Kingdom or Monster Force or Mezco or whatever, is that they feel so much better in hand than Marvel Legends do. And Marvel Legends, the joints are weird and the ankles don't move quite as well, and everything's kind of, they're toys. I get it. They're designed to be played with by kids, and they're just not the same. But I still get excited by certain characters, so I still feel like there's a place in my collection for certain Marvel Legends because of the characters. Now, if I were a rich man, I'd probably get, a Mafex Spider-Man 2099. I don't think Mafex is ever going to do Uncanny Spider-Man. But I'd get Spider-Man 2099. I'd get, some version of Spider-Man that was, better than the Marvel Legends version. But for me, for Marvel characters, they get the job done. I mean, they're effective enough at sort of providing me with a representation of a character, and they're not perfect, but they're not awful. And so I'm sort of satisfied with what I get for the price point, and I move on from there. um, yeah, yes, totally. Larry Reed says, I have those Spider-Man coming from Pulse this week. I ordered mine from eCollectibles, which means I probably will get them, in a little bit later than everybody else, but I'm okay with that. I'm never in a rush. I never need to be the first one to open them, but I am very much looking forward to them. Mr. Ryan Clark says, even just comparing Marvel Legends to other Hasbro, such as G.I. Joe Classified, Legends pale in comparison, which is bonkers to me. I mean, the amount of money that they're paying in licensing to do Marvel stuff, I'm constantly shocked that they don't kind of up their game. Now, the only thing I can think is that, like, when you look at Maximum Spider-Man and you're like, okay, they can do better. I can't help but think that they're just like holding back and they're just holding off, and we're just not getting the best versions that we can, because then they can sell us better versions, a year or two from now, which is terribly cynical and tragic, but it is what it is. That's I believe that's what's actually happening. So, Brick Something says the beauty of Marvel Legends is the vastness of the Marvel universe. When I see a huge collection curated by teams, story arcs, eras like Ted's, it's tear-inducing in its glory. Yes, yes. Well, that's it. I don't buy a ton of Spider-Man stuff. I do buy a lot of X-Men stuff. The fact that I got Feral to round out, issue 1 X-Force, the fact that I got Rachel Summers Phoenix to round out issue 1 of Excalibur, those things make me happy. Those are the things that I, like and appreciate. For those of you that didn't watch my Rachel Summers video, I also made the complaint that Rachel Summers figure came out so far after some of those other Excalibur figures that now I feel like I need re-releases of like Kitty Pryde because it's pinned, and now I want like a pinless version. So it's this endless hamster wheel. That's the thing that I don't like about, Marvel Legends, is that it never feels like you're getting the best version that they could make. It always feels like you're getting a version that's a little bit behind. That being said, I'm looking at my Fantastic Four. I'm good. I have the Fantastic Four now. They were the like animated series card back ones, and I got that same version of Doctor Doom that they just re-released. I'm good. I'm good with Fantastic Four. So if the versions are good enough, I'm okay. I'm done. That's it. I just need a team. I don't need multiple versions of all of them. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Marvel Legends. I bought, maybe 10 Marvel Legends this year. That might be high, actually. I'm just trying to think what I bought. I bought Feral, I bought Phoenix, I bought Rom. I think I bought Icarus in 2025, but I think he's a 2024 figure. What else did I get? I feel like there's a couple others that I'm forgetting. But anyways, I didn't buy that many, and I feel like 2026 is going to be the same, but I'm very excited about these ones. Christopher Bouchard said the only Marvel Legends that I'm looking forward to is the Doom from Doomsday, and I hope for Scorpion from the New Day movie. Yeah, that so like you're looking for MCU stuff, which is interesting because I don't know any MCU collectors. Mr. Ryan Clark says, I am still a Marvel Legends collector, but I get way more excited for other lines. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the thing, right? Like if you're like a lifetime Marvel person, if you're collecting Marvel Legends because it's sort of where your collection may have started, right? I think Marvel Legends still offers something to collectors. And I think depending on sort of what you're collecting, they might offer you more than some other lines. I'm good. I mean, I basically have all the characters that I need and want. Like I'm just trying to think of like stuff that I would still add to my collection. I was thinking I was going to do the Generation X stuff, and then I was like, do I need it? My X-Force stuff isn't on my shelf. My X-Factor stuff isn't on my shelf. Not even all my X-Men stuff is on my shelf. So like, would I just be buying it to put it in a bin? And ultimately I decided that Generation X would probably be relegated to a plastic tote bin somewhere. So I probably didn't need it. So then it's just sort of like then it's just, yeah, I mean, my collection doesn't need more Marvel Legends is where I'm at. So, Brick Something says, one of my favorite toy tubers is an MCU collector named MCU Collector. I am aware of MCU Collector, as I don't collect any MCU stuff. I don't know that I've ever watched any of their videos. Larry's Geeky World, I still kind of want that Gamerverse Wolverine. That's a good looking Wolverine. That's a really good looking Wolverine. Anyways, moving on from Marvel Legends to Marvel versus another IP. Marvel doesn't scratch the itch for me as much as Capcom does. See, I told you there's a logical progression between the things that I'm showing you. Very, very excited by pre-orders coming from Jada Toys, the Street Fighter line specifically. Akuma and E-Honda should be out in 2026, as well as Balrog. And I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't more. These are things that I've pre-ordered in 2025 that I fully expect in 2026. But that doesn't mean that I won't get more 2026 figures that just haven't even been released and put up for pre-order yet. Jada seems to be very, very quick with their turnarounds between pre-order and release. I fully expect these figures to show up, in the next few months, and have more pre-orders. Now, that being said, I think if my math works out and my sort of mapping of these figures works out, I think Jada's Street Fighter, this version of it, may end in 2026. So for 2027, I won't have any more Street Fighters to look forward to, which is not bad. I'm happy to get sort of the whole collection and be done with it and move on to stuff like more Scooby-Doo. I should point out also that I don't have any Scooby-Doo pictures. I'm very excited for more Scooby-Doo figures, but technically Jada has not released any information about any releases for Scooby-Doo for 2026. So I couldn't, sort of within the parameters of what I'm talking about today, include that in today's video. So as much as I am excited about Jada Toys Scooby-Doo stuff for 2026, I don't know what's coming out in 2026, so I didn't put anything in here. These should be out in 2026. Whoops. So they made the cut. They got a slide. As I said, there's more Street Fighter stuff that's going to be coming out in 2026. But this is what I included because this is what I have on pre-order and fully expect within the 2026 calendar year. And Brick says, I think they're doing alpha. They are doing alpha. I never played alpha. So I'm gonna be 100% satisfied with the Street Fighter 2, basically, collection. I don't need the alpha figures. I don't need the additional characters. I don't need sort of the redesigns of things like Ryu. I'm totally happy with the Ryu that I have. And I should be sort of good. There's a couple player 2 colorway options that I might get. You know, if there's a San Diego Comic-Con Blanca version 2 or something like that, I might pick that up. But other than that, I'm good. So thank you, Jada, for Street Fighter. If it wraps up in 2026, I look forward to what I will be collecting from Jada in 2027. Like I said, it'd probably be Scooby-Doo. It might be something else. I don't know. But Jada's making amazing toys, so I'm excited to get these. Moving on, because I got to move on quickly because I'm running out of time. This is a figure that I ordered in 2025 that I expect now to get in 2026. I would have been excited to get it in 2025, but I didn't. So Senor Blanco should ship from Mezco in 2026, I guess. And I'm super excited about that. Like I said, I am, after I got Doc Knock Holiday Edition Doc Nocturnal with the Krampus, bring on more Rumble Society figures. I love the figure. It's been on my desk since I got it. And so very much looking forward to this. This is exactly what I wanted from Mezco. This is what I've been sort of holding out for Mezco, and was able to grab one in that first window when they had it up for pre-order a couple weeks back. And so yeah, more to come on Senior Blanco. I'll definitely do an unboxing video for him because the Mezco stuff that I've gotten so far, the very generous gift from Toy Father of the Hawk P40, and then the Doc Nocturnal Holiday Edition, as I said, I've been very, very impressed with. So we'll see. I don't know Mezco well enough to know if there's something else that I should be anticipating in 2026. I'm anticipating receiving the Senior Blanco, but I don't even know when I'm going to get it. So. Let's see. Let's move on to Cyberzoic. I love Cyberzoic. What can I say? What can I say that I haven't already said about Creative Beast Studio and the Cyberzoic line? The Wave B assortment should arrive soon. I have these two dinos, the Dryptosaurus and the Deinonychus. We will be getting the armors and the figures to go with them, I believe, in March, or at least that's sort of tentatively what the schedule says. So I'm excited to get both of these dinos that I already have armored up, and then have the figures that sort of go along with them. The first issue of the comic book is now available to read without a download, without paying for it. I put a link in the description down below as well. So if you're interested in Cyberzoic, you want to know a little bit more about the lore, by all means, go and check that out. Issue 1 was very, very cool. Again, maybe not AWOC issue 1 cool, but that's a very, very high bar. Jason set a very high bar with that comic book, and so I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the Creative Beast Studios guys. I think they put out a great first issue, but I really want more lore from them. I want to know more about the different factions, and they're definitely giving it to us in small doses. but the doses are too small and they're too sporadic. And I would love to see more consistent lore coming out from them. That's my only complaint about Cyberzoic right now. Because the stuff that's coming out looks fantastic. This is also a Wave 2 figure. So this dino I have, of course, the Utah Raptor, but then again, the armor as well as this figure. These things are looking fantastic. They've had some kind of QC issues, kind of fitting issues. But those issues notwithstanding, the product looks amazing. And is amazing. It's super, super cool stuff. So I'm excited to get more. This is Wave C, which they've said is also going to be probably first half of 2026. And so I just put it all in here because I'm excited for all of it. There wasn't anything that I was more excited or less excited for. So I just put it all in here. This especially, so the Serpent Dragon, which I didn't initially back. This I had to send an email and say, hey, can I add this to my backer kit, because I'd seen it in person a couple times. I got to play with the prototype, the functioning test shot for this figure, and it's phenomenal. The wings are bendy, the tail is bendy and articulated. The articulation is amazing. So it's almost like, it's almost like a snake. So it's sort of somewhere. It's got that sort of Chinese dragon kind of thing where like you can bend it and curve it and like move it. Very snake-like, but it's a reptile, so it's still got the legs and then it's got the wings, and it's just like it's so cool. Kurokami, the first dragon that we got, the Arctic dragon, is very, very likely going to be in my top 10. I haven't finished my top 10. That's going to be my video next week. I'm going to do a live top 10. But it's definitely in the running for top 10 of 2025. I would not be surprised if this dragon comes out in 2026 if he wasn't in my top figures of 2026. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Nobody gets their spot by default. You have to earn it. But dang, I've played with this thing already. The unpainted version that wasn't mine. And it probably, it's got a very, very good chance of being in my top 10 next year, I think. Brick says, I want this dragon. When did Kurokami arrive? Kurokami arrived in April, I think. March or April, something like that, of 2025. Firmly a 2025 release, though, for Kurokami. Okay, let's see. What do I got next? I've got, Zoic. Also, the Zoic card game's coming out. Not a toy, which is why I didn't say top most anticipated figures. Did I say that? I think I just said most anticipated of 2026. This is right up there for me. I'm very, very excited about getting this game, playing this game, seeing the cards, collecting the cards. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about Zoic. I don't know where you can order it, if you can right now. I don't know if they had like late pledges for Kickstarter or anything like that. They haven't. Is the backer kit already up? Maybe the backer kit's already up too. I don't know. I can't keep track. I've been too busy. But I'm very, very excited about Zoic. Obviously, I am incredibly excited by what is going to be released in 2026 from Spiro Toys. Now, I am also involved in what is being released from Spiro Toys in 2026, and so I can't necessarily share, all of what I'm excited about for 2026, but I will share the ones that, Spiro Toys is going to be releasing in 2026. So the Brawler Wave should be sooner rather than later. The two that I'm most excited about, believe it or not, are the two that are kind of like the least important in the lore. So as much as I'm excited for Kali Prime and Hannibal and the Void, the two that I'm kind of most excited about are Grimes and Brutox, because they're just kind of different. They're new. A dog and a bison are a little bit different from what we've had so far. We get new parts that we haven't. The fact that Grimes comes with, big, guns, and we're sort of leaning more towards that and less towards swords. I'm here for. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of sort of a balance, because I think AWOC has been more sword heavy than it has gun heavy, but the comic book isn't. And I think, getting more of these kind of modern sci-fi, elements will kind of appeal to a lot of people that are sort of into it, but not sort of over the should I get it or shouldn't I yet. But I think like the Void and Grimes and some of these other figures that are coming out sooner rather than later will sort of lean more towards the sci-fi stuff. And I think it's really just gonna, get more eyes on the brand, which is good for the brand. From a collector's perspective, these are the ones that I'm the most excited about. It was a stacked year. Yeah. And I don't think 2026 is going to be any less stacked. That's what's crazy. I think 2026 is going to be worse from sort of a top 10 collector's objective kind of point of view. Brick facetiously, oh, these look neat. What are they? Larry's Geeky World. So looking forward to finally getting started, getting the new AWOC in hand. You and me both. E. McNeil says that looks amazing. Like the colorway. Definitely. I'm excited for these. We're going to alternate heads too. So Brutox actually comes with an alternate head that you can use as like an army builder. So you could have two of the sort of Buffalo characters. Grimes' alternate head is another Grimes head. So there's less army building there, but still awesome looking figures. The lizards, the reptiles. So, after a lot of discussion back and forth with the factory, we firmly believe and strongly believe that we're going to get the reptiles in 2026 as well. So, the brawlers plus the reptiles in 2026 is going to be amazing. Getting multiple new bucks, multiple new figures into the line in the year is going to be awesome, and sort of get back to the momentum that Animal Wars at the Kingdom had in 2024 and sort of hopefully build off of that. So I'm super, super excited about these. Of course, these all come with alternate heads as well. So you got army building potential in there. And if you back the Kickstarter for, I want to say $100 or more, $150 or more, something like that, you're going to get a third set of reptile heads as well. So, so what does that look like? So the blue head here on the end, you got sort of that head, and then that head, and then the helmeted head. There's more heads here that I'm trying to remember. I think this head, and this head. There will be 3 of each of those. So I think in the green, you'll get the helmeted head. I can't remember. But basically, you get another green one, another red one, and another blue one if you back the Kickstarter. So even more army building potential, even more sort of potential for kit bashing and customizing and all that kind of stuff. So no, this is good, Ryan. This is good. Is the factory currently having a reptile dysfunction? No, we were having a reptile dysfunction. We could have, should have, would have done the reptile first, but the brawler seemed like the next best choice to do, and the brawler was the hardest one to do. So the brawler took the longest. We could have probably gotten the reptiles out sooner, but that's, hindsight's 2020. The reptiles will be out sooner rather than later, hopefully. So Brick Something says, yes, I'm biased, but damn, these things look great. You're not wrong. Christopher Bouchard says, waiting for the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom lizards. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Brick says, by we, he means Jason and Adam. Yes, it's just Jason and Adam with a reptile dysfunction. Okay, moving on. There is a very good chance that we also will get Spectral Pale in 2026. And for anybody that knows me, you know that this is largely in the line because I demanded it. So, nothing more on that, other than I'm really, really excited to get this figure. I, of course, have a prototype that's just a 3D printed one that's glued together, standing on my shelf opposite where I'm doing this video, so that I look at him, you know, adoringly daily. But to get a full factory functional version of this where the armor can come off and I can sort of kit bash and customize, I'm super, super excited. I've got multiple of this on the way. If you didn't back this in the Kickstarter, shame on you. You will maybe still be able to get this figure, but there's no guarantee. This was a Kickstarter exclusive. It'll probably become a convention exclusive if there's any units left once they land. But very, very excited about this figure. Moving on from Animal Warriors of the Kingdom and Spiro Toys to the Nameless Toy Company. But before I do, let me take off my Thundercat sweater. It really is too warm to be wearing, and I am very, very hot to wear my Space Zombies from Mars t-shirt. So I've been delaying sharing news about Space Zombies from Mars, and and I feel like this is a bit of a tease because I'm not going to give any news on Space Zombies from Mars. What I am going to say is that I'm very, very excited for what we have planned in 2026. And by 2026, I mean like really soon. Next week, next Sunday will be the first Sunday of 2026. And as I already said, I will be doing my top 10 figures of 2025. So I'm waiting absolutely till the end of the year. I mean, it'll be 2026 when I'm doing my best of 2025, because I still have a couple things that are scheduled to arrive in the next couple of days. So I'm gonna have to unbox things very, very quickly to see if they make it in the top 10. Recency bias aside, there's a couple figures that I'm anticipating that I'm going to get that may very well be in my top 10. So that's what I'm doing next week. The following week or thereabouts, I will give a sort of full rundown of what to expect from the Nameless Toy Company in 2026. And I can assure you, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. We've been, as I said, we've been doing lots of stuff behind the scenes, related to the figures, related to production, related to the comic book, related to another Kickstarter. But we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, and we didn't want to announce anything that we didn't have, more sort of solid information on. We didn't want to sort of put something out there and then sort of say, well, you're going to have to wait because we don't have anything scheduled. We don't know what we're going to do. We have a very good idea of what we're going to do in 2026 and beyond. And so we will have more to share on that very, very soon. Larry's Geeky World, Space Zombies from Mars, Brick with some zombies and some astronauts. Mr. Ryan Clark says, can we order a Space Zombies from Mars shirt anywhere? Not yet. But if you really want one, message me and I can get you one. Tease. It is a tease. But I keep saying we will have news and I keep not sharing anything. I will share one thing and then I'll wrap it up because it's time for Brick to be doing his show. One thing that we've been working on is sort of refining and adjusting some of the color palettes, some of the decos. One thing, so Arlen had sort of done all the design before we did the first Kickstarter, and I sort of got brought in to do the Kickstarter, and then we sort of went from there. We hit the ground running 100 miles an hour. Since then, Arlen and I have been going back and forth. We've been sort of having regular video chats where we kind of like look at colors and sort of adjust things, and you go back and forth, and we'll kind of adjust something and then leave it, and we'll kind of um, some things work, some things don't. So sometimes you kind of try it and you kind of sit on it, give it a few days, look at it on your desktop way too much, and then you can find fault in it, and then you have to change something else and all that kind of stuff. That being said, we've finalized our colors. So of all the tweaks that we've done, I think of the like dozen figures or so that we had, about 8 of them got tweaks. So they got little adjustments and they've got differences. And in 2 weeks, like I said, whether it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't know, because I've got there's other videos that sort of need to fit in. But anyways, the next time I do a video that's just sort of like this, where it's just me sort of sitting down and chatting, um, I will be sharing sort of some of the progression of sort of what we've been working on. So, without further ado, I will share sort of the final rendition color of the medical astronaut. So, for anybody that knows this line really well, they will know that this is a pretty dramatic departure from what it looked like when we launched the Kickstarter the first time. The medical astronaut had it was different in that it had white gloves, it had red bands on the arms and the legs. But this is a different take. And when we sort of go through how it got here, I think it'll make a lot of sense. And without going into too much detail about what's changed here, you could take this and screenshot it and sort of put it next to the old version and sort of see, the differences, which I will do in a future video. But if you don't want to wait that long, you're welcome to do that. There's a whole bunch of things that got changed. One of the big things, one of the big notes that I had was that the astronaut. So when you think of astronauts, you think of a mission. You think there's sort of like there's like unity across the line, right? There's unity from the medical to the science to the engineer to even to the military. So one of the big things that I noted was that all the suits had details that didn't quite line up, that didn't quite match up. And so I said, well, what if certain details are the same regardless of the suit? So think of Star Trek, right? So if you think of Star Trek, whether it's original Star Trek or Next Generation, the color of the shirt aside, the pants were all the same. The color of the shirt aside, Next Generation, they all had black shoulders, black pants, and then sort of the color of the shirt indicated, the sort of subsection of the crew that they were part of. So we wanted, or I wanted, my suggestion was like, why don't we look at the suits that way and say, okay, what are the details that would be specific to each group? And what are the sections? What are the details that will be the same across all of the suits? So that's something that we sort of looked at and something that we adjusted. So I think they look fantastic. Arlen thinks they look fantastic. I think we've really I think they went from like a really cool line to a really, really polished line. And I think when you see these all next to each other, all lined up, it makes way more sense from sort of a design aesthetic language. So as I said, I'm very, very excited about that. And that's only one of the things that we've worked on. That's not even news about Space Zombies from Mars. That's not even related to like, when you're going to get these figures and all that kind of stuff. But we got lots of news on that as well. As I said, we are going to do another Kickstarter, but we'll have more news on that closer to the day. It'll be later in the year. It'll be probably, third or fourth quarter 2026. So it's not gonna be imminent. But I will explain why, and I will explain sort of the process that led us to that decision once we get there. Okay, so that's all I got for the day. Brick is probably live now, so I will let everybody go. You're all free to sort of go about your day. E. McNeil said, "Great news. Looking forward to hearing more on space zombies." Mr. Ryan Clark says, "Hells yeah." Larry's Geeky World says, "Looks great." Christopher Bouchard, "I walk out of the room for just a second, Adam, and you are showing space zombies from Mars." Well, don't leave. That should be the takeaway. Thanos says, "What's the all-in price so we can save now?" I don't think that'll change much from the last time. If I'm being perfectly honest, if you look at the previous Kickstarter, numbers wise, a lot of it will look very similar. We've updated, we have updated quotes from the manufacturer, so we don't expect there's going to be much change there. So we don't expect there's going to be much change in pricing. So the all-in price will probably be within, a margin of error sort of related to what we had for the first Kickstarter. So the offering is changed ever so slightly. But I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed in respects to, how the offering has changed. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. But I think as far as time goes, or as far as this time around, I think people are like, it's yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. Anyways, I lost my train of thought there. What's going on, Recon Rage? Good to have you. Thanos Copter says, "Hope you crush it this time around." We will. More news on that. We're already crushing it. Is sort of the news, I guess. And we'll have more to share, later in the year, 2026, not 2025. There's not much more to share in 2025, but in 2026 we'll have more to share on all that. But yeah, there you go. That is my most anticipated stuff for 2026. Hopefully you guys are excited about all that stuff as well. And if you're not, that's fine too. If you're not, and you're watching this later, because I won't have time to sort of check it out in the comments, let me know in the comment section down below, what are you most excited about for 2026 as far as figures, as far as sort of figure related releases related to, these IPs or others. I'm genuinely curious to know, because I always feel like there's something that I don't know about that I learn about last minute. So anyways, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go jump onto Brick Something's channel and watch his kind of year in review video. So hopefully I will see you there in the chat. Until next time, like I said, next week I will do my top 10 of 2025. So hopefully we'll see you guys next Sunday at 2:05, not 2:35. I promise. Bye, everybody.
Now that's a country song. Living and loving and driving fast cars, whether I'm here or I'm on Mars. I'm gonna die young, baby, that I know. I'll leave a beautiful memory when I go. Well, I woke up this morning feeling pretty damn tired. I was up all night at a moonlight fire. There was beer, whiskey, beautiful girls, but you know can't afford no diamonds and pearls. So I told them I was famous for singing this song. I thought for a while I'd strung them along. One said, "Fellas, got a pretty good game. Tomorrow I won't even remember his name." Well, living and loving and driving fast cars, whether I'm here or I'm on Mars. I'm gonna die young, baby, that I know, but I'll leave a beautiful memory when I go. I'll play that just like your daddy taught you. Now that sounds sweet. Guitar pick. So I went to the fridge, grabbed myself a beer. I jumped in the car that I wanted to steer. I told them guys I'll be back in the jiff, but I accidentally drove my car off a cliff. So now I'm all of my brains on the inside of my black T-bird. I hope y'all remember these beautiful words. Well, living and loving and driving fast cars, whether I'm here or I'm on Mars, I'm gonna die young, baby, that I know, but I'll leave a beautiful memory.